Hi, everybody. Grace and peace to you on this beautiful, little bit overcast Saturday morning. This is day 6 of my little lockdown videos to encourage you and hopefully bless you as we're going through this together. This is the last one of the 6, and this morning we're looking at the idea of rest. I think one of the challenges when you are in a situation like we're all working from home, and certainly it's been one of the challenges that I faced being self-employed and largely working from home, is that we think that we don't need to rest. So because we're at home, because we're doing stuff that we would normally do when we weren't at work, we sort of now get into the situation where we say, well, we don't need a rest now, everything is fine. But I have found, even in my world, and obviously more extreme in these moments, that it's even more important to what I would describe as legitimizing your rest. Because working from home in a lockdown, the danger is one day bleeds into another, one activity bleeds into another, and the separation of activities, the separation even and boundaries of things that we're thinking about just disappears. And before we know it, then the sort of the week just rolls into another week. And it's really important, as we've talked about routine and rhythm, we've talked about recreation, all of those things, that actually we give rest a boundary, we legitimize rest, make rest an actual day. As Jesus said, Sabbath was made for man. It was a day or a season for him to enter into. It was legitimized. And of course, in the context of Tanakh, Sabbath would have been literally legitimized because it had a boundary from evening to morning, Friday night to Saturday. So it was legitimized as an activity, and we sort of need to do that. We need to build rest day into our calendar and make it something we actually do and practice, because one thing can lead very, very quickly to another. And so I love the words of Jesus. He says to his disciples in the middle of an incredible ministry trip, he says, come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest. And I love that in that verse we've got the fact that rest is spiritual, that rest is emotional, that rest is relational, and that rest is also physical. And when we think about rest, it's an important part of our world. So 3 little things to encourage you in the context of thinking about your rest and legitimizing rest. Make it part of your week. Make it part of your rhythm. Here's the first thing. Remember that rest needs a purpose. For me and you, we're spending 6 days of our week saving the world. Shabbat, rest, is about saving ourselves. Remember, Sabbath was made for man. And actually God called humans into Sabbath so that they could experience something beyond the physicality and beyond the normal boundaries of life. So we're trying to save the world, absolutely. But Sabbath is about our own souls being saved. There's a beautiful little story of a traveller in Africa, and he hires a whole bunch of local men to carry all his stuff. On the first day of their journey, they make incredible progress, and then he gets up on the second day excited, thinking they're going to make as much progress again. None of the workers move, and when he says to the boss, why aren't they moving? The boss says, they're waiting for their souls to catch up with their bodies. That's really what rest is. Rest is our ability to allow our soul to catch up with our body. We're saving the world 6 days a week. On 1 day a week, we need to save ourselves. And Shabbat, Sabbath, rest, whatever you call it, however you do it, is part of that process. Secondly, think about your pace. In my car, it's amazing. I have cruise control, and I've noticed that if I can go on a long journey and reduce my revs so that I'm doing 68 miles per hour on average, the fuel that I save on that journey is absolutely incredible. Just by reducing the revs from 73 or 74 miles per hour to 68 miles per hour, the difference is absolutely incredible. Sabbath is about changing the pace. Sabbath is about slowing everything down. Sabbath is about resisting the temptation to run at the pace we're normally running at. And most of us have had probably an intensive week. I've had a very intensive week of meetings, Zooms, recordings, study, and work. And actually today and tomorrow, I am turning down the revs so that I can conserve my energy. And lastly, remember that Sabbath or rest is about maybe a new practice. It's not a day of inactivity. So Sabbath is not a day of inactivity, it's a day of different activity. It's a day of non-work or non-normal work. It's a day where we quieten the crowd and put our work away. And that is so important. So it's a day we can focus on some fun or family. But it's a day when we are shifting our attention away from our normal work. Jesus said, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place," in juxtaposition to the noise of the crowd. Turn off the noise of the crowd. Come away from the demands of the crowd. Come away from the demands of your everyday normal work and give that sense of rest, your rest day, a different practice. Remember, rest is not just physical, it's spiritual. Jesus said to the crowd, "Come to me and I will give you rest." He says to his disciples, "Come with me and let's get some rest." Sabbath was made for man, not man for Sabbath. And we are called into that rest. And I want to